Hello and welcome to part 3 of my Les Paul build. Make sure to go back and watch parts 1 and 2 and like and subscribe. To start, I drew around my original Les Paul template on some MDF. I cut it out roughly and most importantly left some room around the neck pocket for support. I then placed the original template on top and routed out the main shapes around the bottom of the guitar. I then marked the centre line on this template and measured 28mm either side. This makes my neck pocket 56mm wide and 3 inches deep. I then used an old router template, but you could also use a jigsaw and a file to cut out the neck pocket. Here's what that looked like. Now's a very good time to check that your neck pocket fits. I then measured 24 3/4 inches from the nut and marked where my bridge went. I can now place my pickups on my guitar and draw around them. I next had to drill a hole in them and cut them out roughly with a jigsaw. Next, file all of the edges square with a good file. Here you can see that my pickups fit perfectly in my MDF template. Now at this point I believe that I could simply cut out all of the cavities using this template, but because the MDF is only 9mm thick, for the bearing to actually run along the template I would have to take a huge cut which would simply kick and tear out. So instead I glued and pinned my original template to another piece of MDF and cut the shape out roughly. Next, I could drill holes around the edge and bang some dowels in. If I got these holes close enough to the edge and got my dowels to stay in place, it would locate perfectly on my guitar body every time. This addition to the template meant it would locate perfectly and that I now had the thickness to use my router bearing. Of course, it would be a lot easier if you just used some MDF with the right thickness. But now I'd done it, I set it up and route the pockets. Once it had done, the guitar body looked like this. Although the humbucker looks a bit dodgy, this will be fine seeing as the cover goes on top of it. I next tried to see if my pickups would fit in the guitar body, but the wires keep getting in the way. So I needed to make a control cavity. Cut 2 pieces of MDF the same size and tape them together. This sanding block is the size of my cavity, so you need to add about half its distance on for the length. Now you need to use a saw with a square fence on it to cut this shape out. Because we added on that extra length to the size we originally wanted, when you flip one of the sheets over it makes the perfect hole like this. I can now place it on a flat workpiece and then use some extra pieces of MDF to add support. If I glue and pin these, it should hold the whole thing together. Here's what the cavity template looks like. It should be a perfectly rectangular hole. Now what I need to do is mark and drill all the electronics I want. I always mark it with a centre punch first to make it easier to drill. And now that I've drilled all the way through to the back, I can line up my template and route the cavity cover hole. Once this is routed out, I mark the inside and use a force with it to hog out the most of the inside. I've then made an insert that slots into this template so that I can route the inside part. Now I've done that, I have the control cavity and the ledge for the cover the perfect shape. My guitar body is 45mm thick, and this goes down 35, which means there is a 10mm piece of wood there. Now to make the cover for this, I'm using some hardwood that's the same sort as the body, so it should match and look the same. And the size of it is roughly what I need for my cover, so I'm using my table saw to resaw it to a thin thickness. should be around 3mm. Now I can line it up with the hole on my guitar body and mark what size it needs to be. Now I can just line it up on my bandsaw and cut it to the perfect size. Now all I need to do is sand the corners of these so they fit into the corner of the hole I've routed, where the router bit would have left a radius. I final sand it by hand to make it go smooth, and that cavity cover is basically done. Here I'm drilling out a deeper hole in the humbucker cavity so that its screws can fit in. Here's a great idea I saw on YouTube. You tape a piece of steel to your body to protect it, and then I drove from the P90 to the humbucker. I then mark where the cavity is on the front and use a long series drill bit to drill from the humbucker into my control cavity. I've also chiselled out a slot here for my P90 wire to go into, and I've made a little wedge to go under it so it can be the perfect height. Now that I have my holes drilled, I can thread my P90 wire into the humbucker channel, put my wedge under it, and pull the wire tight as I put it in place. I can now thread the P90 wire into the control cavity, and then do the same to the humbucker. This shows me that I've routed all my cavities correctly and that everything fits. The wires are going to be long enough to wire up in the cavity, and now all that's left to do is to screw the cover on. I hope you'll join me in part 4. Please like and subscribe to see more videos.